Today's show is sponsored by the ABV Barrel Shop. The ABV Barrel Shop is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri, and is the world's first single barrel only liquor store. This business is owned and operated by Steve Akeley and Jim Fosnot. Head over to abvbarrelshop.com to sign up for their email and text distribution list. That way you'll know what they have in stock, what classes are coming up, and what barrel picks they have in the works. We are also sponsored by The Bar to Go. The Bar to Go offers a fully customizable carrying case that allows you to take your favorite distilled spirits or cocktail ingredients with you. Whether you're looking for yourself, a customized gift, or logo items for your business or event, The Bar to Go can help. Check them out at thebar2go.com. Use the number 2 when you type out The Bar to Go. Did you know Neely Family Distillery now ships its popular distilled spirits directly to you? To order, simply call 859-394-3258. Tell them the ABV Network sent you. And now, on to the show.
Let's drink!
Welcome to the Bourbon Daily, the podcast about everything bourbon delivered to you every day of the week. Today on the show, we discuss whether or not McNew is a bourbon superstar. My name is McNew. Please join me in welcoming my co-host, Steve Akeley, along with our special guests, Lenny and Evan Van Scoik.
Hey, gang, what's up?
Hey, guys.
In the presence of greatness.
Oh, yeah. Well, this is what happens when you let McNew write the show, so this is it. So this is what we come up with. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a McNew. It's a McNew original, folks. Yeah.
I did not write this.
Yeah, the McNew channel. All McNew, all the time. All right. So, yeah. But we'll get to McNew talk after the break. For right now, McNew said there's something she wanted to talk about on her special show. McNew, what is the question on the McNew show?
I'm making everything about me now. So this, I feel like, is an old man rant, even though I'm not that old yet. I'm getting there, but I'm also not a man. I'm not getting there. But a thing that pisses me off is fucking voice messages. So when people, instead of texting me, they want to send a voice message, I will never listen to it.
Oh.
Like, it is trash.
I used to send you those.
I hate them with a passion.
I'm going to start again.
And no, they become more popular for some reason. They're coming more often, and they just anger me to my core.
Well, when you drive, it's easier because no matter that always fucks up the text. Even when it starts out, it's reading it. It'll like read you what you just said, and it'll get like 3/4 of the way through, and then something's fucked up in there. Yeah. So you're better off just sending a text message with your voice.
And like I don't listen to voicemails either. Like I literally have the thing with Verizon that translates my voicemails into text because I don't want to fucking listen to it. I would rather read it.
I'm sending McNew voice messages coming up.
They anger me. It's an irrational anger. I hate them. But I'm like, just text me. I'm never going to listen to that. It's garbage. I'm just not. Like, I feel like it's rude. Like I'm probably listening to a podcast or I'm listening to a song and I don't want to be interrupted. Text me or don't speak to me. Like I hate a voice message and I don't know why they're so popular.
Okay.
I hate them.
McNew, I couldn't agree more.
Thank you.
It's one of the worst things that happens on my phone. And check this out. So I recently broke my screen on my phone, and I found a spot to repair it. There's not a lot of that stuff out here where I live. And I bring it in, the guy fixes it, and he's going through all things to show me that it works. And he says, "Can I play one of your voicemails?" Like, sure, I never do. Play any one you want. And he goes, "Oh, look, here's one from us." I was like, I didn't listen to it. Go ahead and play it. I will never listen to those. They get up into the thousands before I delete them all.
Why did he want to play it? Just to make sure things were all working?
Like to prove to me that the speaker was working, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah, I know. It sounded weird to me too at first.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, they're terrible. Also, I would bolt on to that. For the most part, don't ever call me. I mean,
Really?
Yeah.
there are exceptions. Like, for example, Steve, if you call, I'm going to answer the phone.
I call you from time to time. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like you've never called to say something that could have been sent in a text.
Exactly.
You get
Just have the politeness. If I need Steve to call me, I'm like, hey, call me when you're free. I never just call him out of the blue because I respect that people are busy. We have lives.
I just call you all the time.
No, it's fine because usually like I'm at work and I have some free time, so it's fine. You're busy when you're at work.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to have to offer a contrarian view, even though I agree, because I do not want anyone to send me voice messages.
I'm sending all three
But-
from now on.
but
That's what you're getting
The
from me.
irony is that we're literally doing podcasts where people are just listening to our voice on their phones.
Because they do that on their own will, though. They literally have to click play. I didn't ask for a voice message. You chose to download our podcast. That's on you.
So
It doesn't play on its own. You have to click play on the voice message too.
to McNew's point,
I'm offended it's on my phone because I would rather have a text.
there is. I hate siding with McNew here because she's wrong in everything she says about this. But I'll give her some credence here because I get it. If you're listening to a podcast and this text comes in, there's something about it that is immediate, right? Because when you text somebody, so if you're texting the voice link things, you almost feel like it's a text. You got to address it right away. Which, if you listen to podcasts, it means that podcast is going to shut down. Well, you have to then listen to the voice message thing. And it's interrupting. And then if you respond back, they're probably going to respond back again. And with my mom, my mom has the last word in every text. She doesn't do the voice thing, but in every text, she's the one that's like, even if you're like, okay, I'll see you dinner is set Tuesday night. She's got to be like, okay, thanks. She's always got to give you the last one.
Yeah.
And if I said, okay, thank you too, she'd be like, yeah, no problem. She's going to get the last one in.
Always,
You got to walk
That's fair.
with my mom. You got to walk away.
I don't know if your friends are like mine, where I'm just like, if this bitch sends me a voice message, I'm like, the whole world doesn't need to know about your hookup last night. Like, send that in writing. I will delete it. But like, I'm gonna play that on speaker. The whole world doesn't need to know. Okay, like it's, stop it.
Absolutely. And tangential to this is I also dislike having a conversation that should be like a text message conversation via email.
Yeah.
Like emails for long message information sending should not be used to have a conversation back and forth.
This puts me on another rant, Evan. When you professionally, like we use Teams, right? So if you're sending more than a paragraph in Teams, fuck you, put that in an email. I'm not reading it. And it's going to show that I read it. I'm not responding to it because it should have been an email.
Or break your thoughts up into like bullet points and send multiple messages.
If it's going to be a paragraph, it is not for Teams. That is for 1 or 2 sentences max. Or can I please schedule a call with you?
We're thinking about adding
for anyone
Teams to the
listening,
ABV network. Yeah.
It's just an IM messaging for business.
Yeah, we're thinking about adding it for us, and then you get the fans in there too. So,
all right. Well, I'm not reading your paragraphs.
Oh yeah, you are. You have to. You have to. It's in your contract. Yeah, it's in your contract. All right. Well, on that note, it is time to drink. What is everyone drinking? I'll go first. I have Weller Antique, the old 107. Let's see what we got here. Ooh, not much. That was sad. But I think it's going to be more than Lenny got here. Let's see. I predict I can beat Lenny. He'll go next. Lenny, what do you got?
I was going to take an L with a bottle of Boulder bourbon, but I'm not going to do that after that. So I've got yet another fairly full bottle. I've got so many full bottles of Deer Hammer Hickory Smoke Corn Whiskey, cask strength.
Okay.
God, I hope this one works.
Ah, damn it!
Don't poke the bear.
That's what you get.
Don't poke the small bear.
Okay, that's what you get. All right. We'll have McNew go next.
All right. This wasn't what I was going to go for the show, but I happened to bring one in also. So I also have an Antique 107, and I'll just see who loses better, me or Steve.
Okay. I think you lost better than I did. I beat you.
Yeah.
Because yours was bad, and then it hit the desk, too. There was desk hit there.
There was a lot happening there.
Yeah. All right. Evans, last but not least, Lenny has the lead.
All right, I'm going to break out some Hidden Barn, finished in Madeira cask. I always say it wrong. I always want to say like Madeira, but it's Madeira.
It's finished in a Madeira cask. Okay.
I don't know why I always want to say that word wrong.
Okay. Now, more squeak than pop, but Lenny clearly wins again. So Lenny wins. Cheers, gang.
Cheers.
All right. We'll take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to find out, is McNew a superstar of bourbon? We'll do that in just a few. Let's talk about the people who make these shows happen. First up is the ABV Barrel Shop. It is the most unique shopping experience in the world of bourbon, as the ABV Barrel Shop only sells single barrels. Owners Steve Akeley and Jim Fosnot select. With over 100 distilleries on board to sell us barrels, we are home to the most unique and diverse barrel pick selections in the bourbon world. By signing up for our email, you will always know what we have in stock. In addition to the single barrels, we'll have a gift shop featuring ABV Barrel Shop as well as ABV Network merchandise. We are partnering with vendors like Art Eatables and Old Man Bay Signs to bring you unique items you can't find anywhere else. We will also have a 24-seat classroom where we are offering educational and fun classes like Breakfast and Bourbon, a series where we pair donuts and bourbon, customer barrel picks, and opportunities to learn from master distillers and other bourbon dignitaries. Best of all, we feature a tasting bar where you can try before you buy. All of this is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri. If you are in the St. Louis area, please stop by to say hi. If you're traveling in from outside the area, please take advantage of our hotel rates with the Drury Inn and Pear Tree Inn, less than a mile from our shop. This can be done via the links in our Visit St. Louis section on our website. Head over to abvbarrelshop.com to plan your trip. The ABV Barrel Shop. It's where single barrels live. Hi, this is Steve Akeley, owner of the ABV Network. We're sponsored by the Stave and Thief Society. This is where you, a bourbon enthusiast, can expand your knowledge and emerge a bourbon steward. In 2017, I completed my Executive Bourbon Steward certification. It's the most comprehensive bourbon certification program available and connects you with an expansive network of bourbon enthusiasts and professionals. Check out the full listing of in-person and online certifications and join the society today by enrolling at staveandthief.com. Okay, let's talk about the Neely Family Distillery. In 2018, I met Royce Neely at an industry event. He started appearing on our shows, and we became friends during my frequent trips to Kentucky. Today, he is amongst the leaders of young distillers leaving their mark on the bourbon industry. A visit to Neely Family Distillery yields insight on their unique family history, why their products are special, and gives you the opportunity to taste their whiskey, moonshine, and creams. Check them out at NeelyFamilyDistillery.com or visit them in Sparta, Kentucky.
I'm McNew. Don't mix your grain and grapes. Not a good time. You're listening to the Bourbon Daily. Welcome back to the Bourbon Daily. Today we're talking about me being a superstar.
Yes, we are. We just spent the last 20 minutes during the commercial break where McNew demanded that we all agree she is a bourbon superstar. So we'll see if the group falls in line with that. So what do you guys think? Is McNew a bourbon superstar?
No.
We'll throw this up to Lenny and to
I
Evan
am
here.
not.
What do you guys think? Evan's saying no. Lenny is,
Yeah, it's a no from me.
oh God.
I mean,
It's also a no for me.
it's kind of a yes for me, but I feel like I want to reframe the term superstar. I feel like
Okay.
like certain segments or genres have their term, and I don't know what it is here. I don't know what it is anywhere really. But is it
Right.
is it rock star? Is it badass? Is it bourbon badass? I mean,
Right.
I don't know. Whatever it is, I think the right term would get a definitive yes from me. Superstar sounds very 80s. No offense, McNew.
Sound very 80s. McNew. Yeah.
But I think like yes to the right juxtaposition of terminology.
Okay.
That's a weird answer, I know.
Right. Yeah, I do think McNew is a bourbon world superstar. So I think she's on one of the most downloaded podcasts in bourbon.
That is true.
She has a secondary podcast that's outside of the bourbon realm that she kind of ties into bourbon. She is making live appearances now. She's scheduled. She's booked at her latest appearance will be tomorrow. She's scheduled for. People like her. I don't know. It's people do like McNew. So yeah, and I've seen distillers in neutral parts react to her. So like Jason Fruits is like, McNew, yeah, get McNew this bottle and stuff like that. So
Yeah, no, so I'm always surprised, like, when people know who I am. I'm like, I'm just like a girl on a podcast. Like, I still have a normal job. I live in a normal house. I'm like, it's a weird juxtaposition world that I live in, I feel like. But
the only thing that's cool about being a bourbon superstar is if you're a superstar in the world of movies, if you're a superstar in the world of sports, you can't even go to the grocery store, you can't go to Target. when you're a superstar in the world of bourbon, nothing changes because the vast majority of the public have no idea who you are. Where it flares up is if you're going to a distillery in Kentucky or you're doing something like that. But it's still not a bad life to be a bourbon superstar.
No, it's not. And I'm always surprised about like the people who like do know who I am. Because people will, like, if I go to a distillery or I go somewhere that's like bourbon centric, they'd be like, "Are you McNew?" I'm like, "Shit, people know me," and it still like blows my mind a little bit.
McNew, you're pretty recognizable, and like honestly, like so is Steve. I'm not. The only reason why I would be is people are like, "Who's that short dude?" Oh, he's wearing a flannel.
He's wearing the flannel. Yeah.
It's a deer hammer hat. It has to
And
be
a deer
like-
hammer hat. Yeah.
But McNew, you're recognized, but also you know a shit ton about bourbon, and without being too like defining, I think it is pretty awesome. Like I love having more women in bourbon who are experts at it and know everything through and through. So I mean, I think in that regard, like not to take anything away from Steve for not being a woman, but it's it's awesome that you present that within the industry. It's cool. There's only a few. Well, maybe there's more than a few. But.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely growing, but like, and I'm definitely proud to be a part of it. So yeah, women in bourbon, like we need more of this.
Yes.
Yeah. And just to keep my streak of being a villain, here's why I said no.
Okay. Let's hear
it. I'm trying to take as an objective point of view because you use the term superstar.
Mm-hmm.
And when I hear that term, I think of what are other references how people use superstar. You think of actors, people who almost transcend the thing they're in to where they are a recognizable name even outside of their areas. So like George Clooney, Julia Roberts.
That doesn't happen in bourbon. Like
Charlie Sheen.
Yeah, imagine going
LeBron James.
Imagine going into your accounting department right now at your work. You work for a big corporation, Evan, and saying, "Ladies and gentlemen, I have with me Jimmy Russell, the biggest name in the world of bourbon." Unless they're bourbon drinkers, they don't know who the fuck that is. They've never even heard of the guy. And unlike actors, I mean, there's plenty of actors that I've heard the name. I don't even know what they're in, or country music people. I know that I don't know any songs. But bourbon doesn't transcend our world. That's so. I'm telling you, it doesn't.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm making that case. Is that I don't know if we can define almost anyone as superstars if you can't transcend. So I'm kind of being fair to everyone that's a hard term to use when you describe someone as a superstar. You mean you're transcendent person in whatever it is.
Hear me out, Evan, because I'm thinking like bourbon superstar. If we were all at a huge festival wherever in the United States, and like Jimmy Russell walks in, or like Steve or Chuck Caldry or Maggie Kimbrell walks in, or Jackie Zycan walks in, everyone's like, "Oh my God, they're here." I don't think anyone's gonna be like, "Oh my God, McNew's here." Like, I don't think people recognize me the way they recognize them. So I also don't think I'm a superstar. I'm like, I'm just a girl on a podcast and I have a good time.
We'll see you on Saturday.
But you are a star.
Well, in the network, I think in this network, in this weird little world we live in, yes, but not in the whole bourbon world.
What if there was an equivalent to the Oscars that the world of bourbon had? I say McNew would have gotten an invite.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah.
So to attend, or to be nominated.
No, well, possibly both. But I mean, like to attend in the manner that you look at the Oscars and always panning to the audience and showing who's out there.
It's full of stars, but the superstars are on the stage.
Okay, but don't they have to come out of the audience?
Yeah, they always have a seat.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Unless you're Will Smith, and then
if a list came out and you see these lists from things, the most powerful women in the world of bourbon, and it goes to 100. I think McNew makes that list. I think she's on that. I mean, there's people higher. Elizabeth McCall comes to mind of Brown Forman. That there's certainly people that have higher trajectory than McNew, but I think McNew's in that discussion. I mean, in the top 100, that's huge. She's probably in the top 50.
Yeah, and I mean, people do recognize me. Like, we went to a revival the weekend before last, and like immediately I walk in and like I've met Brad maybe like twice in real life. Huge hug, like, "Hey, McNew's here," and I'm like, okay, cool. Like, he didn't have to recognize me like that. He could just like treated me like another customer, but he didn't. Like, that was cool.
Yeah. Wow.
So I am in agreement that she is absolutely a star, I'm only disagreeing on superstar.
Well, you claim there's
Take
no
super out of
superstars.
the word. Yeah.
There's no superstars in bourbon. And maybe if that's the case, well then, yeah, then there's none. Because again, I don't think Jimmy Russell transcends bourbon. I don't. I mean, I think he's as big of name as you can come up with. Living legend from the world of bourbon, one of the great all-time greats. But I don't think people who aren't passionate about bourbon know who he is.
I think this is true, Steve, because the first year I was at New Orleans Bourbon Festival, I had photos with him and Fred No. And somebody commented and said, "You flew to New Orleans to hang out with old guys." Like, they had no idea who they were.
Yeah.
And I thought it was hilarious. I'm like, you don't know who that is? Like,
right.
So funny.
For us, we look up to
Like,
those
that's a
people.
superstar. I was like starstruck. And they're like, you're hanging out with old guys? Who is that? I'm like, oh, wait, let me tell you.
That's what you're doing, hanging out with a bunch of old guys. Yeah. Well,
apparently.
interesting. So I think McNew's pretty high up there for sure. So I don't know. Yeah, well, I think she's going to feel some of that love tomorrow as we record this tomorrow. So I think I'm on the show because there's people excited to meet her. I've had more people coming too that either they have something going on. They're like, damn it, I can't come to the McNew thing. I'm out of town that day.
I am thrilled to come tomorrow. Like, so there's all these faces that like I see online or like I comment back and forth with them, and I'm like, I get to meet them in person, and I'm excited that they're excited to see me. Like, I'm excited to meet them. So
yeah, cool stuff. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll wrap this one up as we always do by talking about where people can find us. Evan, we're going to start with you. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Facebook or Instagram at Wit Wisdom Whiskey.
Lenny.
You can find me and the rest of Deerhammer on social media at Deerhammer, on the web at deerhammer.com, where you can order our bottles shipped straight to your door. And you can come visit us in beautiful Buena Vista, Colorado, home of the winning cork pop.
All right. McNew.
I'm on Instagram at McNew ABV.
For me, I'm an easy guy to find. I'm at Steve Akeley on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I've got a website, steveakeley.com. We've also got that company website, abvnetwork.com. That's the one you got to check out. We put all of our previous shows on there. Maybe you want to go back and hear McNew's first show. It's out there. And she's no superstar then, I'll tell you that. So check them out at abvnetwork.com. Come by and see us, ABV Barrel Shop, St. Louis community of Arnold, Missouri. We'd love to see you, love to hang out, talk whiskey, and have you try some of our stuff. And if you like what you try, please buy a bottle. McNew, anything else to say before we get out of here?
I would like to remind the audience to please give us a 5-star review. That includes comments. It helps new people find the show, which is very important to us. And if you like what we're doing, we ask that you please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/the ABV Network.
Great job today, gang. Fridays, we'll have a brand new show for you tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Until then, take care, everybody. See ya.
Bye.
See you guys.
Bye.
Peace. Before we finish the show, let's talk about some great companies that support the ABV network. First up is Moonshine Still Pro. Moonshine Still Pro has a full line of products to help the home distiller. Whether you want to experiment on the stove in your kitchen or you're looking for a bigger setup in your backyard, owner Russell Creed and his team can help. They have multiple still offerings, accessories, and even grain from their partners at Goldstone Mill to assist you in making whiskey on par with your favorite distillery. They can also help you with some fabricated parts you probably can't make yourself if you are attempting a DIY still project. Learn more or order your still or parts at moonshinestillpro.com. Last but not least is the ABV Barrel Shop. While we don't get to play in the allocated bourbon game because we aren't selling the other products you have to do to get those, we do have access via our friendships in the bourbon industry to some really cool stuff. Have you ever seen your favorite craft distiller selling some really cool limited offerings only in their gift shop? I'm talking things like the hazmat offering Distillery 291 did for their 10th anniversary, or Neely Family Distillery's Papaw's birthday barrel. They don't have enough of it to send it out to distributors, so they only sell it via their gift shop. Well, companies like Distillery 291 and Neely Family Distillery have agreed to sell us 2 or 3 cases of these offerings moving forward, meaning our store will have the access to some of the rarest whiskeys in the world. Way more difficult to come by than the allocated bourbon offerings with the national release. Yes, they will be extremely tough to come by, but if you're a customer of our store, you'll have a chance to get them. Get signed up for our email or text list over at abvbarrelshop.com so you don't miss out.
The Bourbon Daily is part of the ABV Network. For more information or to become a sponsor, please visit abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening and cheers.
This has been a Steve Akeley production.
Bye.